The idea of who's in charge in the homes creates hierarchy in the family unit, and now has been accepted by society as a whole as their means of communicating. In charge being the domineering, aggressive personality in the room. The vulnerable gets treated like shit. The family usually chooses the youngest. The family unit meaning an individual thing or person regarded as single, but can also form an individual component of a larger, more complex whole. This is when I might challenge our guidance into hierarchy in the family by the Bible. When all decisions at the end of the day are to be made through one or even both parents, each mind becomes that one or two minds through entraining, which hijacks free will. It is very important for all to be exercising their free will, their autonomy. All receivers are to be open to perspective, their own. True conduction is practiced or lost in as the body grows. This is why the lack of power behind their sets, their every move. Minus safety and foundational needs, the parent is a mere guide, or should be. When children are raised by controlling, domineering parents, alienation is a daily activity that all participate in. Even mild alienation over time causes fragmentation of the self, a splitting. Let's see. Splitting makes the minds extremely susceptible to entraining of any war program, like the war in politics, religion, the patriarchy, matriarchy, racism, etc. All things that slowly, according to our current death ages, kills the body. But yeah, if we're like entrained from the get-go to have somebody in charge of us, it's going to be really easy to jump on board. Someone always being in charge of someone, even their mental programming without much programming, creates this mass infestation of the cluster bees. Both men and women are feeding off these current systems. Participating in any of these systems is what I mean, even when opposed to it. What would there be to talk about if not the problem? When a group or family is trained to make their own decisions, they receive practice and experience expressing their felt feelings, their perspective. This is what builds integrity and self-esteem. When a child is codependent to the group or family, many life and social skills are neglected to be taught. Experience builds confidence. Experience relating and being related to for your perspective. Experience in order to progress in our communications, in the relations we are conducting, through how we conduct our communication. I don't know what I was trying to say. The true conduction in relations is everyone leaves happy. Everyone leaves happy. Everyone leaves with the confidence to go for what they want. Confidence to avoid people pleasing or other codependent chaining ways of thinking. Due to teamwork, which is open to all perspectives, not being upheld, the minds result in hive mind thinking. No minds of their own. Another reason most are sitting ugly in fear. Just sitting ugly in fear. My autonomy being the most fearful detail that they seethe over. And it says, tell the whole food story. So I went to Whole Foods the other day, and these ladies were like in a group, like doing something, and one of the ladies was instructing, and they saw me coming. The fact that I'm independently driven, so like I don't like look around and like, I don't know, when I walk in the store, I'm there for the task, you know. And I was right across the street from the gym I used to work out at, and the leader of the group that was like talking to everybody, when I walked in, I was wearing my hair down. And I don't ever wear my hair down. Like, nobody ever really sees my hair down. So they noticed, and maybe they thought like me wearing it down was an insecurity or something, because when I walked in, the leader was like, "Oh, look, her hair's down, look." And then all the other ladies copied what she said. Her hair's down, all one at a time. There was probably like 4 or 5. And they were like twitching at the same time, like trying to get my attention with their hands. I knew they were trying to make fun of me, so I just basically muttered under my breath, but loud enough for them to hear it. I was like, you guys are just dildos, dude. And I just went about my business, and they shut up, and they got quiet. They were like in shock that I said it. Good. Charge is lost in the meaningless surface level relations. If it doesn't contain a future reference potential, if it is a sexual situationship, which is now happening in same-sex friendships, meaning like even like energy that's exchanged between same-sex friends, like 2 guys. Like my ex-boyfriend used to kind of like flirt with his friends, and even on social media. I used to be really flirty too, like with my friends. It was just like a cute, like fun way of communicating. It wasn't like anything sexual or anything, but it ingrains into the mind. It affects the mind. So let's see. So all these things for mere dopamine hits. Because it does. It's like, it releases bonding chemicals. And over time, it'll mess with your minds. Anyways, relations require a lot of emotional processing. This focus should be monetized, channeled, and directed towards one direction in order to build integrity for something tangible to build on and of value. Splitting yourself up for more people than deserving, like toxic relations. Well, you do get dopamine hits from like acting sexual, you know? That's why people like doing it so much, for mere dopamine hits. Relations require a lot of emotional processing. This focus should be monetized and channeled and directed towards one direction, in order to build integrity for something tangible and of value to build on. People who need a lot of people around them, they're constantly like fragmenting themselves, like splitting themselves off into basically different types of people, different people with different people. Like everyone's, they switch up around who they're with. Like there's no consistency there. Anyway. Splitting yourself up for more people than deserving, like in toxic relations, we are not demonstrating a value or love for self. Without emotional bandwidth, our close relations struggle. They crumble. Relations that are surface level but sexual has the mind in somewhat of a constant split, no matter your sex. Emotionless but physical relations and time filler relations result in not just splitting but emotionally exhausted, aging the host faster, discharging the body. Splitting is also scapegoating, bullying, gaslighting, withholding accomplishments. It'll cause a splitting. Like if you're causing a split too, you can cause a split in other people. Alien. The child of the cluster B parent is scrutinized and belittled into learning, which makes it very difficult for their mind to retain and take an interest in learning if the conditions of the teacher isn't truly demonstrating the lesson, like emotional regulation. I stay actively practicing, thankfully, to all my daily tests. Am I perfect? No, but I have one direction in mind, and that is to stay regulated. The delivery of the messages and communication can make or break the retention. So I'm trying to kind of, I'm branching off into like also how we teach and how people learn and like how receptive people are to information depending on the delivery. Yeah. So basically, there are some minds, like militant minds, that learn really well under pressure and kind of with like, you know, the harsh lessons, the harsh deliveries, I should say. Like people like me. I am not okay with relationships like that, but like if somebody were to come to me and like, you know, scrutinize me about something, I'm like the first to jump on, like, you know, just getting to work about it, I guess. If it's something I said I wanted to do too, like, of course. So, but like not, the average mind does not learn well under those conditions. Most of them are fawning or freezing. They're not fighters usually. So they're all gonna like learn differently depending on that. When a unit is ran by fear or criticism, the prefrontal cortex becomes shot. Rebuilding, reprogramming, and renewing the mind is not possible. This is where the generational curses lie, in the communication. The spelling work, generation after generation. How the one in charge runs the show is what's recreating the cycles. Our over-emotionality has the overstimulated unable to process quick enough to develop consistent intimacy. Life's stresses, mentally and emotionally, are too much due to repression. Men usually thinking it would be bypassing feelings. This attempt to hijack their emotional processing becomes a pressure cooker. This pressure is sent down the line of command, basically to the wife, to the oldest child, and then to the youngest. If it's a single child, they're probably going to be spoiled, but treated like shit in many different ways. This is also how the service industry is now ran. No one is able to deprogram childhood programming with their environment being just like home. This is why I won't work in the service industry anymore. I will not work in the service industry. On top of many other things. I do not do hierarchy when in group settings. My mind automatically thinks team. Let's work together logically. But now it's all ran by emotionality and this hierarchy of like who's dominant and supreme. When you're this person, you end up becoming the scapegoated. You're no fun anymore. So let's get her out of here. Problems seem more fun to talk about when the group is ran by lower emotional states. Our hierarchy is the cause of any splitting. We are talking the health and longevity of our mind to body here. Brain damaging effects based on toxic ways of relations. Literally in the conversations that I'm watching all the time. Brain damaging effects over time. Aging. Putting anyone in charge over another is stealing actual charge from their bodies. Anyone governing over another is discharging to all bodies involved. No one is ever powered up. Controlling, demeaning relations result in no steam for your expression. Expressional steam, which is esteem. So the puppetry. Anytime you want to control me, not only are you the puppet, but you're disempowering yourself. Not me. You. I'm not involved in this. This is a you thing when you're trying to control other people. It's a control issue. Let's stay in charge of self, yeah?